Peace, 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 peace. Peace in Islam. Today we going over this brother story, Mustafa Azamor, aka Esteban. And we're gonna go over some accounts. We're gonna go over Wikipedia's account, and we're gonna go over some of the book Africa versus America. We're gonna tackle the story. We're gonna see how a lot of the modern day scholars just make educated guesses themselves. Obviously, because no one has a time machine, right? So it's all studies. So I'm gonna tackle this. He was known as an explorer. We will get into that when we get to the accounts. But what we're gonna tackle, we're gonna see if the Morocco that he came from, was it the Morocco of the East, or was it the newfound Morocco that we been tackling in these last few videos? Was he from that Morocco? We're gonna find out. Even though we wouldn't know for sure, but we're gonna tackle it. In this map, I circled Marigos, Guis, in the map near the Maranon River. We're gonna go through. We got the maps open up. Yeah, we got the maps open, so we're gonna do a little bit of searching on the maps. We're gonna do a little bit of reading. Gonna break this down in two parts. We got Veracruz de Macapa. So just remember that you're gonna be reading about these places. We got Cape North. Let's start with the Wikipedia. Esteban named Mustafa Azamor. Let me see how Azamor is spelled in the East. Better known by her so-called slave name, Estebanico, Little Stephen, or Stevie, was a Moroccan explorer from Azamor, Morocco, servant in Spain, who became the first African explorer of North America. He has been referred to as the first great black man in America. Now they got three sources of this line, of this part. Three sources, okay? And all these words is ambiguous. No such thing as a black man, for one. We're going to get into that too. Why that some of the even old accounts would probably call somebody a Negro or a Neger. Negro is Spanish for black, right? Okay, he is known as Esteban de Dorantes, Estebanico, and Esteban the Moor. So they're dealing with what he is known as based off different accounts written by him through different time periods. He was sold to a Spanish nobleman in Spain in about 1521 and taken in 1527 on the Spanish Narvaez expedition to establish a colony in La Florida. La Florida being the South, as we call it today, the dirty South. And when you say Spanish nobleman, don't think as Spanish as we know Spanish people today. 1520s. Okay? So, which was the time was composed of the present-day Florida and all unexplored land to the north and west, including northern Mexico. So, Florida was anything outside of the 13 colonies at this time. When we talk about Spain, we could be talking about in America. His early life Estebanco was sold into slavery in 1522 in the Portuguese-controlled Amazigh town of Azamor on Morocco's Atlantic coast. Azamai, Amazigh town. Amazigh and Amazon is something to keep in mind. Some contemporary accounts refer to him as Arabized Black or Moor, a generic term used for anyone from North Africa. Now, this Wikipedia page, look at how they speak. Okay, they already call him slave. They don't call him black. They don't call him what else? We call him a couple of things: African, slave, black. But they stop to tell you what that was, right? They expect you to know. But they're gonna stop and tell you when they use the term more, they're gonna make sure they define that for you to marginalize you. They gotta define that every time they use that because they gotta marginalize you. That's how I know they know that it's more than just a generic term often used for anyone from North Africa, quote unquote, right? We ain't even know of Africa as Africa, right? That's how you use a scholarly work. You can email these people who write these articles on Wikipedia. I got a Wikipedia account. You know, anybody can write an article on Wikipedia. You just gotta make sure you have a source. You don't gotta be accurate source, but you gotta have a source, and they will publish it. So they refer to him as an Arabized Black. Arabized Black. We got in South America. We got Aruba and Arabi. You catch them, you can probably find that on all maps. That they call Yoruba today. In that same area, you got the Rio Negro. So you got an Aruba near the Rio Negro. That can be an Arabized Black, quote unquote. Because they're getting these from older sources, so they don't really know the opinion or the definition of these terms according to them, to that author of that source that they use. They just copying from that source. A generic term, okay, Diego de Guzman is a contemporary of Estebanco who saw him in Sinaloa in 1536, described his skin, and they got a failed verification on that one. Somebody wrote that and didn't give a true source. But let's check on that. Sinaloa. Of course, so he met with Guzman. Guzman saw him in Sinaloa, right? We're in Mexico. Let's check something out. That's what I like to do too. Guzman. Got a couple of towns or places or houses in the city of Guzman City. Interesting. Right? We got a couple of places called Esteban. They got it in the same city. You got an Esteban Guzman. Right? So we're dealing with Mexico. We're dealing with New Spain in the story so far. Let's continue. He was acquired as a servant by a Spanish nobleman, Andres Dorantes de Carranza. When you see de, that means that's where they're from. So let's look for that, Carranza. Carranza. That's a house or a building. And I want Ecuador. So we deal with somebody from a Carranza, a Andres Dorantes. Okay, Dorantes Basin. I like looking at basins. Okay, we got it right there next to Mexico. Heroes of the Revolution, the city of Urezensis, or Juarez, got Rome right there, Roma. Okay. He had undoubtedly been raised as a Muslim, but because Spain did not allow non-Catholics to travel to the New World, most historians, and they got who, because whoever making this claim on Wikipedia ain't picked who by most historians, which ones, believed that he was required to convert to Roman Catholicism in order to join the expedition. His Christian name Esteban, suggests that he may have been baptized. Whether he remained secretly a Muslim cannot be known from historical records, and a lot of stuff cannot be known until we get the original records ourselves and translated, right? And you can see right here, he became Esteban from Mustafa. And we see a lot of that going on. We see a lot of Moors going from Hamate, Mustafa to Esteban the Black, or El Negro. He'll go from El Moro to El Negro when he get baptized. And that says a lot. This could tell you. Little will be known about Juanico, were it not for the fact that Cabeza de Vaca published a book about their 8-year survival journey, the Religion. Now that right there is what we gotta get our hands on. And you can see Wikipedia don't have a link to it. So he probably being hidden in some clergy office somewhere. Who knows? But if you want the facts, that's where you go. And even then, you start getting from Cabeza de Vaca point of view. But mostly likely the most truest. Let's look for De Vaca. He from a place called Vaca. Let's see if that's the We got Vacaria, we got Rua, Vaca, which is Greek. We got a Vacaville in California. And we got Empleos in Jerez. So we still in the same area. That's will probably be most likely what it is. Yeah, still in the same area. And they still don't say Vaca, but they take me there. A company. I had a feeling this was Jerez. This area where we at. Okay. It became the first book ever published describing the people's wildlife, flora, and fauna in inland North America, and the first to describe the American bison. In the Religion, Cabeza de Vaca often referred to Estebanco as the Black, you see. And once you get to the Christian side of things, you replace more with black, a common custom among the Christians when it comes to us. They always been quick to switch that. And you see at the beginning of Wikipedia had him as the Moor, because they had an account that has that. They describe him as one who went in advance of the other three survivors, so they seen him in further, as he was the most able to communicate with the native Indians that they encountered. So if he could communicate with them, would it be more prudent that to say that it make more sense that he be from here already? And the last sentence of the relation Capacity de Vac identifies quote unquote the black who have been on the survival journey. And a translation done by a Sterling professor, see we dealing with people who translating them themselves, right? So they could be lost in the translation. In the translation as the fourth is named Esteban. He is an Arab speaking black man, a native of Azamor. Now you see how they spell Azamor different right there, right? We got one in Cordoba in Argentina. You got everything in Argentina, but you see how Azamor is spelled on the other side? They spell his name like that at the beginning, but the translation don't spell it like that. The translators spell it different. Spell it like how it is in spell it how it is in Argentina. Even though I know I ain't dealing with Argentina, we got a street called Rua, called Azamor in Portugal. And we got Azamor, we got two Azamor Argentina. Three, it look like. But I want to go to this one. Okay. This shows you the spelling, the difference in the spelling, how they did in the first beginning of the Wikipedia and how they ended. Let's go Cordoba. My Google Maps showing everything in Latin, but as you can see around Cordoba we have Elende. Remember that. We have, I just saw Toledo. We got these wars and stuff that happen in these places and in the record books, but modern day we got modern day people who really reading these records, so they don't know which Toledo. So they're gonna put it on the most common one, which would be on the other side of the world. We got Mendiolas. Okay, let's go. So we got a bunch of people translating this. Then somebody else translated the same way. He's a black Arab and a native of Azamor. And they probably see the word Negro when translating it. Okay, let's go to the book. Africa versus America. Estebanico, black Arabic native Azamor in quote unquote Africa. Accompanied Cabeza de Vaca and Dorantes. The appellations received him with reverence. The Vicar of New Spain took advantage of the news that the Negro had of the land to send him to discover with the friar in 1539. Video one day about the black friars. They went to the kingdom of Marate and Kabola. We're going to check on that links. Very rich land. There were 7 cities, very populous and very large buildings of adobe, with 2 or 3 leftover doors and windows. People of reason, their neighbors, dressed long cloths with neck camel toe sticking like the Moors. So they already been Moors up in there. They possess turquoise camels, elephant, cows of ours, and mountains that hunt in the mountains. Sheep like those of Peru, and strange animals of a single horn that were not unicorns. The viceroy were preparing an expedition of 12 friars to conquer by preaching. You see, holy war. But he sank the pendency project with the Marquis of the Valley. Okay, let's check on this. We got New Granada. We got the Vaqueros. They got their own little area, and that's the so-called Black Cowboys in modern times. But I'm looking for Morata right there. Morata region and Kibola. Another ones who allegedly killed him, and they they honor him. They got a kahina dog after him, and a tradition. Okay, so we got the seven cities of gold next to Biscaya, Las Moors. Okay, and the Red Sea, Vermelho. Okay, it's the area we were talking about just now, and New Spain, so called. In 1534, the four survivors escaped into the American interior and became medicine men. As medicine men, they were treated with great respect and offered food, shelter, and gifts, and villages held celebrations in their honor. And I just finished explaining that. When they decided they wanted to leave, the host village would guide them to the next village. Now check this out. Sometimes as many as 3,000 people would follow them to the next village. So what's going on? The party traversed the continent as far as western Mexico into the Sonoran Desert to the region of Sonora and New Spain, present-day Mexico. We already checked that. Where they encountered a slave hunting group of Spaniards. We always say Spaniards just means people who speak in that language, in which everybody on this continent been speaking a form of Latin, which could be French, Spanish, English, and all these other languages we speak today. The slave hunters told them that the main Spanish settlement was in Mexico City, 1,000 miles to the south. The four survivors traveled to Mexico City, arriving in July 1536. So they're moving all around. We're going to look at some of those routes in a second. Let's keep going. In 1540, Cabeza de Vaca was appointed adelantado of what is now Paraguay. You see? Now this man all the way in Paraguay right now as a governor. Man, it's Paraguay right there. So he in Paraguay. What's his name is? Cabeza. We got Cabezas Bolivia, Argentina, Cabeza del Boy in Spain. Got something in Spain. We got Cabeza de Jerez in Mexico City. And that's where they went, right? That's exactly where they went. That's the so-called four survivors. Cabeza of Jerez. So he might have lived in this area. He might have lived in this area right here. Yeah, near Mexico City. Where he was governor, Captain General of New Andalusia, and that area of Paraguay was called New Andalusia. I believe it's changed. Let's check that out. Check the old maps to find it, but it wasn't even down here in Paraguay. It was, unless they, Andalusia had rulership over here for a long time. Okay. He worked about the population of Buenos Aires, which we find everything in there. Yeah, we find everything in there. Let me see. I just see a Benway. Yeah, you got a street down there. Let's go there. The street of Cabeza de Vaca. Hernan Cortez. They just put everybody down here. Magellans, Balboa, with all the characters on one. Pizarro, Hernandez. Yeah, they put all the conquerors down here in this little town, huh? They select Colon. It's an E-Roller. We don't even know who some of these is, but we can find out. They put them all in this little area. Ramon, Verdell, Comodoro, Riviera. Yeah. And our face, right? What the name of that river? Paraná. He was arrested. So he was charged for poor administration. He was arrested in 1544 and then transported to quote unquote Spain for the trial in 1545. Although his sentence was eventually commuted, he never returned to the Americas, so-called. He died in Seville. We got a Seville and we got a Spain on the side, so keep that in mind. Okay, this is the area that I believe is Azamor. We got Pernambuco, and we got Alagos. Alagos, I believe that's Arabic, but don't quote me. We got Sergipe, which is Egypt. We got Tamarica over here somewhere, which would be Mamarica. And we're dealing with the North African geography. And you got sugar and cotton districts, right? Sugar and tobacco districts, right? Now let's look at some of the shit on the side. This is kind of late Brazil, but we still gonna be able to see some shit. Planter's carriage. You see, you got the European Spanish woman, so-called. And then we got lasso and cattle. Look like the Moors traveling in Rio de Janeiro. You got the Moor down here. He's a fisherman. You can see a lot of fishermen right here. Negro huntsman. Basically a fisherman. They're gonna call them Negroes because of the river, right? Hey, look. Moroccan to the core. So-called Andalusian. Cabo Frio. I know. To pay attention to. Got the so-called slave capture. You see, Mars, and they got him as a slave capture, but we don't really know. He could have been a freedom fighter for all we know, fighting against Steve or one of those other enemies who were coming to snatch blacks from this area, so-called blacks. You see, they call her so-called Negress of Bahia. So they trying to displant these people, and always was trying to. It's a stronghold. They call him a slave huntsman, a Negro huntsman. Call him a slave catcher, like they don't know these people. But they will try to tell you everything about your history, but it's our turn to tell about our own history. Let them worry about their own. Whatever that may be. Let's see, out there for our black Argentine soldiers in the Paraguayan War, right? Moors. Free Market Ladies, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, 1875. Just like the other side of the Atlantic, right? They could have been from this Azamor. Because Spain was dealing with America much earlier and longer before Africa in the books. Capital do Mato, so-called slave hunter, Brazil. And when you say slave hunter, don't fix your mind to think of what they teach you to think was slave. And in this area, we had two Sale, which is Afua today. And you know what we had in Sale. Sale on both sides of the river. So we got Afua on both sides of the river. Just like it would be in Sale. You see. Two Afia right next to what is Mazigal. Mazigal would be Mazigan on this side. Just like it is on the other side. We got Mazigal, we got the Sale. Now called El Jadida. We're gonna see that the geography ain't matching up with the accounts in this area, but it's gonna match up in our area. I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna see how the most fertile land in the world is right here. This river reaching all the way inside, and we call this Shinar. We call it a mixum. Okay. It gives this river fertilize a lot of land, which is lacking on this side. This bison right here is one of the most fertile. And then you got this bison on this side that matches it. Like the cutoff point when it crack. Right there and right there. The two closest points in the world between the two sides is right here. And that's why they tell you most of the so-called slaves came to Brazil, because they got to account for all them people they know down there who've been down there for centuries, forever. First peoples. But these people ran Brazil and Spain, Portugal. Let's look at some of the Spanish victory. We got Olinda, Recife, Bahia, Para, all those important states. Minas Gerais, go check that out. That's where they find Luzia. You see Buenos Aires right there. And this is road. You see how they got it coming from down here. And it's the route they so-called took. And they were running government, so-called New Spain. He had his office and everything, so he can damn near govern that bit. Okay, this is gonna be the last one before we go to the next video. We'll cut it. The name Azamor has been lost in America. That's from the book Africa versus America. It is said that it is Mazagan, indicating evident proximity since the port was separated from the square for 12 hours on horseback. So we're dealing with how fast that the account say to get from one place to the next. As clues, Port of Morocco, which connected with Saleh and Santa Cruz, communicating regular with Tetuan and Tangier. And I'm pretty sure Santa Cruz probably still exists today in the area we're talking about. Copy Baribe. The head Berber. Santa Cruz out the head Barbary. We dealing with language. So a couple. St. Crooks. And all Santa Cruz mean is Saint Cross. That's where some place where the Christians planted crosses during victory of conquering. So, you can see there's plenty of Santa Cruz on the side of the world for you to show you where the holy wars really were. The Moorish arrest Hamed, resident in the Alcazaba de Saleh, interrogated in the Portuguese square, give information about the rivers. You see, he giving information about certain rivers that we don't see in the other side of Saleh or Azamor. But we know, according to her account, it's lost on the side where it's supposed to be. Sailed in 1632, but was frigid at the same time as caravel of the King of Morocco. Both went right, quote unquote, to Azamor, the royal ship for wheat and Hamed to make the fishery of the shad of that river. When they passed through the bar, he fired the artillery of Morabito Axi. So they fighting. Moors fighting each other on the side. The caravel turned, lost the major tree continuing the fishermen. Captured in the Destination River by the Mazagan caravels, they tested the intention of the Moorish nets, rigging and some salt, which they carried on the ship. Asked the boss why he did not fish in the Saleh River, where there were also shadows. He replied that he was forbidden up to those of the Alcazaba by the Morabito. So we got a Morabito over here ruling, followed by those in the city of Saleh and all districts, as he had the capital, with the exception of the Alcazaba, which was preparing to conquer for having refused the Andalusians to collaborate in the conquest of La Mamorra, proving far away the greed for news from the officers, because if they had been 30 leagues away, they would have had enough left over. So basically, if all this been going on the other side of the world between the Moors, it would have been easier to go from Andalusia to current Azamor, because that's a couple of miles away, right across the ocean, right? So he ain't starting not making the story. You see, and we're dealing with just this area we're fighting instead of all this over here. Leon the African, the Azamor were where the Umirba ended, had about 5,000 neighbors, being notable the representation of Portuguese merchants, exporter of shad. They fished in the sea, not in the river. contributing to the town of 6,000 to 7,000 ducats a year. The author attributes to them to have inspired the King of Portugal the idea of conquering it, rejected the first army, sending second with 200 candles, which occupied the place, fleeing the Muslim population to Saleh and Fez. Azamor identifies with the Azama, capital of Ducala, visited by the Carthaginians. In the Azamor, you see a different spelling, off the coast of Morocco, 99 kilometers from El Jadida, there are Medina, Mehala, and Kasba, highlighting Casa de la Polvora in the citadel, whose construction is attributed to the Portuguese with fishing port. The river brief is the Oum Ribi, and the wine of Azamor, the greater ones of Barbaria meet. So she's saying basically the ones on the Azamor that she talking about, all the rivers meeting. And we can see that. House of rivers too. And we got Negro, which means black. So he could have been somebody from this area, and that's why they would have said he been a Negro, because he probably been somebody from this area. And the Spanish records, all this right here with the screen showing, but known as Tierra de los Negros, the land of the blacks, in Spanish records. So, you know, we see why Cabeza de Vaca, well, I say he was an Arabized black. I think he was Aruba up here somewhere, I can't remember. Up there, the country of the whites. We got a real Negro.